Hi student, good morning. Today we are going to discuss topic number 11 of IGCSE biology, and today we will discuss the gas exchange in human, and in the gas exchange in human we have to discuss the structure and the function of the lungs. We will also discuss the inspired and expired air. We will also discuss the effect of exercise on the breathing rate. Okay, now come to the first slide. Okay, see here the first slide. As you can see, the title is features of gas exchange surfaces. See, any surface which is possible to exchange the gases, okay, it has basically four characteristics, as you can see in the slide, that these surfaces should have the large surface area, okay, so that more diffusion take place. Another, they should have the thin walls, okay, which ensure diffusion distances remain short. Okay, another, is the good ventilation with air. There should be the availability of the air. And the fourth characteristics, good blood supply, means there should be in the network of the capillaries, and the blood should be circulated in that particular region. If you are going to study these characteristics, you will also see in the skin of frog. See, our skin cannot exchange the gases, but the frog skin has all these characteristics, due to which it can just exchange the surfaces. Okay, and the type of respiration which is carried out by the skin of frog called as a cutaneous respiration. So these four characteristics are found in the alveoli of human lungs. Okay, now we come to the another slides. You can see here the structure of breathing system. See, it is start from the nasal cavity, like external, internal nostrils are there. Okay, the air enters into the nasal cavity. Later on, it goes to the long tube that is called as a trachea. Okay, which are having the ring-like muscles or cartilaginous structures. Okay, this trachea bifurcated into two when it enters into the lungs. This is called as bronchus, and the pair, is called as bronchi. Okay, and each bronchi, is splits into bronchioles, and from each bronchiole there is an attachment of alveoli. And alveoli, is a place where the exchange of gases can be observed. Okay, so on the alveoli, there is a network of capillaries. These alveoli are moisturized. These alveoli has a large surface area. The wall of alveoli are very thin. So all the characteristics which we studied in the previous slides, okay, are found in the alveoli, which is suitable for the gas exchange. Also, you can see that the lungs, are protected by the rib cage. Okay, rib cage, is the bony skeleton, which is having the intercostal muscles. Okay, also down you can see the dome-like structure. This is called as a diaphragm. So this is a simple structure of the respiratory system. Okay, now come to the little detail. See here, the lungs are the main organ in the respiratory system, containing the surfaces where gas exchange take place. Okay, ribs and the intercostal muscles are found between the ribs. Internal and external muscles work antagonistically in pairs to expand and contract the rib cage during the breathing. The ribs also protect the lungs and heart from physical damage. Okay, so these ribs, also protects the lungs, because you see here this rib cage, as we studied in the previous slides, does not only protects the lungs, but also it protects the heart. Okay, now the next structure is larynx, that contains the vocal cords which produces the sound. Okay, now trachea, the next part, trachea connects the throats to the bronchi. C-shaped cartilage rings are present to provide the structure strength, keeping the trachea opens so that air can pass through it. Now, when the trachea goes down, okay, it bifurcates into two bronchi. What are bronchi? Hollow tubes composed of cartilage rings that carry air from the trachea to the lungs. The bronchi splits into two tubes to enter the left and right lungs before branching further inside the lungs. Now, bronchioles, as we discussed in the previous slide, that bronchus, when it just go ahead, it splits into the bronchioles, the more fine and thin tubular structure, which is connected by the alveoli. So these are, you see, the smaller tubes which branch off from the bronchi in the lungs, leading to the alveoli. Alveoli where gas exchange occurs, because these alveoli, have all four characteristics, as we discussed in the previous slide, that these surfaces should have the large surface area. These surfaces should be moisturized. These surfaces should be very thin. These surfaces should have air ventilation. Okay, these surfaces should have the network of the capillaries. Now come to the next slide. You can see here in this slide, the further, the structure of the lungs. You can see here that how, the internal and external muscles, intercostal muscles, you can see here. See the external intercostal muscle and internal intercostal muscle, and these two muscles work antagonistically. Antagonistically means, if the external intercostal muscle contract, the internal intercostal muscle relax. Okay, so we will just study it, okay, that when it's going to be relax and when they are going to be contract. Okay, now come to the next one. Yes, here you see there are special type of cells in the trachea, which we call as the ciliated cells. Okay, as you can see, the ciliated cells are having cilia, the hairy structure, and these cilia just move, okay, due to which it moves the mucus out of the throat, because the mucus is the watery secretions, okay, that trap the germs and dust particles, and these germs and dust particles are to be pushed out from the throat. Okay, so the mucus does not enters, okay, into the lungs containing the germs and the dust. Okay, it has to be pushed out, or keep away by the movement of the cilia. Now here you see the intercostal muscles. The muscles are only able to pull on bones, not push on them. This means that there must be two sets of intercostal muscles, one to pull the rib cage and the another set to pull it down. Mean one set pull up and the other one pull down. One set of intercostal muscles is found on outside of the rib cage. Okay, that is the external intercostal muscle, as we discussed and we have seen in the previous slides. The other side is found on the inside of the rib cage, that is intercostal muscles. Now see trachea. Trachea. What is trachea? Trachea is the rings of cartilage surround the trachea and bronchi. The function of the cartilage is to support the airways and keep them open during the breathing. If they were not present, then the sides could collapse inwards when the air pressure inside the tubes drops. Okay, so here you see there is a very important function of the rib cage. Okay, also there is an important function of the ring like cartilaginous muscles, okay, which are found in the trachea. Okay, because they are having a flexibility or the elasticity, due to which the lungs are not to be collapsed. Now, the function of cilia and mucus, as already we have discussed with the help of diagram, that in the trachea, there are two type of cells which are very important. Number one, is the ciliated cells. Ciliated cells, move the mucus out of the throat, and goblet cells also there, which produces the mucus, and this mucus trap the germs and dust particles, which has to be removed, which has to be cleaned, okay, from the ciliary cells. Now here you can see inhalation and exhalation. Yes, when we inhale or exhale, what is the what is the condition of the intercostal muscle, and what is the condition of diaphragm? Okay, and what happens with the pressure of the air inside the lungs? See here, when you breathe in, inhalation mean breathing in. When you breathe in, see external intercostal muscle contract. Okay, and rib cage moves up and outward, means the rib cage move upward and outward. Diaphragm contracts and flattens. Volume of thorax increases. Pressure inside the thorax decreases. The air is drawn in. See, as the pressure inside the lungs decreases, then air can easily enters into the lungs. Okay, so this is what happens in the breathing in or inhalation. Sometime in exam paper, the diagram of inspiration, inhalation, or breathing in is given, and you're asked to identify this diagram. Either it is a inhalation or it is exhalation, and also you have to write down the characteristics, okay, some properties. So when like the diagram of inhalation is given, okay, you have to write down all these points. Now come to the next one, exhalation. Exhalation means breathing out. Yes, when you breathe out, so what happens with the intercostal muscles? See, external intercostal muscles relax, and rib cage moves down and in, and diaphragm relax and becomes dome like structures. Okay, and volume of thorax decreases. Pressure inside the thorax increases. Air forced out, means air comes out from the lungs. Okay, so this is what exactly happens, okay, in the exhalation process or expiration process. Now, reasons of difference in inhaled and exhaled air. Yes, means you know that the process of diffusion, as we discussed in topic number 3. Okay, diffusion is the process in which molecules move from higher concentration to the lower concentration. Okay, so here you can see that which gases are in the air that we inhaled or exhaled, and what is their percentage. For example, oxygen, oxygen is found 21% in the expired air. Okay, and when we expired it is 16%. So the question arises, where the 5% goes. Okay, so the 5% goes to the goes to the the body. Okay, because it is absorbed by the, or it is attached by the hemoglobin, which is circulating in other parts of the body, and it also reach to each and every cells. Now see here the reason for the difference. Oxygen is removed from the blood by respiring cells, so blood returning to lungs has a lower oxygen concentration than the air in the alveoli, which means oxygen diffuses into the blood in the lungs. Okay, so this is about the oxygen. See, when we inhale, we it is generally thought that we are inhaling only oxygen. Not only oxygen, we are also inhaling so many other gases too. See, for example, carbon dioxide gas in the atmosphere, 0.04% carbon dioxide gas is there, which we inhaled or which inspired. Okay, and when we expired, it become 4%. So how, the amount of CO2 is increased, because each and every cell of our body release carbon dioxide gas in the process of cellular respiration, due to which it become the part of expired air, and the amount of this expired air is increased. Okay, you can see in the form of carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas is produced by the respiration and diffuses into the blood from respiring cells. The blood transports the carbon dioxide through the lungs, where it diffuses into the alveoli, as it is in a higher concentration in the blood than in the air in the alveoli. Now, another thing that is very important is the water vapors. See, always it happens always, when we inspired, okay, there is a lower percentage amount of water. Okay, but when we expired, okay, this is the expired water vapors always increased. Why? Because respiration, due to the respiration, oxygen is broken down, oxygen break down the glucose, and CO2 and water is made. So water is also made in the process of respiration, due to which this water just become the part of the expired air. Okay, some water become the part of the expired air. Now the last thing, is nitrogen gas. Okay, in the atmosphere 78% nitrogen is there, which we inhaled. Okay, and this nitrogen, is not absorbed by the body, or by it is not required even to the cells. Okay, that's what, 78% the same amount is to be expired. So nitrogen gas is very stable, and so cannot be used by the body. For this reason, its concentrations does not change in inspired or expired air. Now come to the explaining the effect of exercise on breathing. I think this is the last topic. Yes, this is the last topic, that what is the effect of exercise on breathing. When you see normal, your breathing rate is low, but when you take exercise, okay, so breathing rate increases. Okay, so what is the reason behind it? See here, when you take exercise, your muscle needs more energy, and this energy is obtained by the reaction of oxygen and glucose. Okay, so during exercise you take more oxygen, and gives out more carbon dioxide gas. Also you needs more energy. So the breathing rate increases just to fulfill the demand of energy. See, frequency and the depth of breathing increases when exercising. This is because the muscles are working hard and aerobically respiring more, and they need more oxygen to be diverted to them, delivered to them, and carbon dioxide gas removed to keep up with the energy demand. If they cannot meet the energy demand, they will also respire anaerobically. Yes, see, what is the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration? Aerobic respiration is that respiration in which oxygen is required. Okay, oxygen is required, and more ATP or more energy is formed. Okay, but sometime, the sufficient amount of oxygen or molecular oxygen is not available, due to which, our muscles, muscles inside the muscle, the glucose is broken down. In the absence of oxygen, it makes the lactic acid, and this lactic acid just accumulated between the muscles. Okay, and it stiffens our muscles. So after exercise, we say that we are very tired. Okay, we cannot move. So just it is because of the presence of the high amount of lactic acid. After exercise has finished, the lactic acid that has built up the muscles needs to be removed, as it lower the pH of cells and denature enzyme catalyzing the cell reaction. See, after the exercise, our muscles, stiff. Okay, and even after exercise, our breathing rate is high. Why? We take more oxygen to break down this lactic acid and to normalize the pH of blood, because during exercise there is a high amount of CO2 in the blood, due to which the pH turns to the acidity. So it can only be removed by combining it with the oxygen. This is known as repaying of the oxygen debt. This can be tested by seeing how long it takes after exercise for breathing rate and depth to return to the normal. The longer it takes, the more lactic acid produced during the exercise, and the greater the oxygen depth that needs to be repaired. Okay, so this is what happens during the exercise. Normally the breathing rate is very slow, in 1 minute 12 times, but when you are taking exercise, so it increases. Okay, and firstly we take a aerobic respiration, then even the energy is not sufficient, then our muscles break down the glucose in the absence of oxygen, and they get energy by anaerobic respiration. So this is about the effect of exercise on the breathing. Okay, that what happens, on the breathing system when we are having exercise. So uh, thank you very much. This is the last slide, okay. So if you have any confusion, any questions, okay, my WhatsApp number is given, my email address is given. Also, this video is available on the TikTok as well as it is on the YouTube. Okay, so on the comments, okay, you can easily write it down the comments. If you didn't understand anything, you can contact me, okay, and can write down like the comments so that I could just make more educational videos. Okay, so hope uh, you have learned so many things from this video. Okay, thank you very much. Bye bye.